So, tell me who you are.
I'm Pam McLean from Dadamac.
And I'm Marcus Simmons from Ecoshelter.
We talked to you a minute ago. So, you guys are working together on a project. Can you tell me a little about this?
Yes, we met last year and discovered that we were both interested in various things that we'd like to collaborate together on. And the outcome of it was that I was able to arrange for Marcus, Ecoshelter, to come and do some work in Nigeria with my colleague John Dada, which is where Dadamac gets its name from. And John was able to arrange things on the ground so that when Marcus arrived, he just hit the ground running.
We were basically interested in what could we do in Nigeria, and interested to hear that Pamela was involved with what sounded like a very good organisation in Nigeria. So through Pamela I was able to visit and more importantly perhaps start dialoguing before. So I think before we even visited we were able to start exchanging information that was useful. There's a few things that what I knew that would help to guide their strategy, and we also managed to come to the visit prepared. We'd actually lined up some workshops and some things that I could do while I was there.
You kind of did a reality check, didn't you?
It was a very useful, sort of a slimline orientation exercise, specific orientation, that's the thing about it. So that was brilliant. So having got there, we'd actually already, Pam has got this really great methodology for communicating. It works really well in Africa, where they're bandwidth poor. Real problems with ringing people up on phones because they're not reliable, and internet just hasn't got the bandwidth. Fancy one's better than most, but even then they have problems. Pam's developed this whole discipline and technique of online meetings using internet chats, texting over the internet. First of all using Yahoo, and I think then we suggested using Skype, and that works really well.
Between the UK and Nigeria, the Dadamac team.
Yep, and that's a discipline that Pam's been getting up. But I was able to use that to start dialogue and say, what do we need for the dome? How much is it going to cost? How do we sort of resource that? What do we need for starting to make straw bales? Here are some plans that make sense to you. So we're actually able to put a lot of things in place so that I was able to make the best use of my time while in Nigeria. Get expectations, but obviously you learn very rapidly while you're there. We've had sort of a whole lifetime of training, including 21 years of intensive training on how to interpret information from bits of paper and act on it.
Yep.
They don't do things like that there. They're much better at some things that we struggle with, but that kind of academic information processing they don't do. So we quickly learned how to get around that. But the key was that we had I believe, quite a successful workshop. We built a straw bale making machine, had to go baling some straw. That's part of an ongoing strategy for exploring straw bale housing to see whether it has benefits. And the other thing we were able to do was to build a demonstration eco-dome. This is a technique developed by
pictures of this, right? It's earth bags, basically?
Yes, it's basically using sandbag technology.
This
is a hybrid between sandbags and compressed earth block. You fill continuous tubing with earth and coil it round to make a dome structure.
So you make basically this gigantic snake that comes across the entire building.
Don't think about across and I'll see you making up and over movements.
But it's actually round and round
in a circle. It's great because I've got a video camera, you can see it. So you lay a circular layer for the bottom two foundation layers, and you carry on laying circular layers, but you taper it in until it naturally forms a dome. So the beauty of it is, first of all, you're getting compressed earth type strength without having to use block making technology.
Now, why are you getting compressed earth like strength from there?
Because you're ramming it down once you've laid the layers down. So it's not compressed at your sort of 6 megapascals, but it is a lot better than your mud brick, I would say.
So you're basically doing rammed earth on each ring.
That's right. It's like rammed earth or pise,
so you wind up with
but you don't need the formwork.
So you wind up with basically a rammed earth dome.
Similar.
I didn't realise that.
There we go. The interesting thing about it is that because it's a dome, the roof comes more or less for free. And we worked out the cost of a roof in that part of Nigeria is about a third of the cost of a house. Big element. So they really like it because the roof comes for free, because you can fairly rapidly learn it. You don't have to train as a builder or a mason, and it's amazingly cool.
And they're
Even in the
durable as well, right? I mean, these are
Pretty
50-year
durable.
buildings or something, aren't they?
Yeah, if you stabilise it with cement, certainly it should last as much as a regular concrete house
Yeah.
does there.
Yeah.
In fact, probably more. I would say the build quality is better than the run-of-the-mill concrete buildings that they have there. We want to explore how to extend that technique, and I'm talking to people with engineering expertise to see how we can improve, value engineer it to make it even more cheap, improve the structural and spatial capabilities of it and so on. But this is sort of a process to engage by supporting FANSON. This is part of Ecoshelter's support links methodology.
Right, and this is technology transfer, right?
We were having the evening feedback sessions together, and you were saying about the end and how the shape of the final roof, that normally eco-domes are more rounded, right?
Yeah.
But ours is in fact more pointed, and you commented that you'd been telling people exactly how to do the top, it would have been rounder, but because the local people had finished it off and they'd made it more pointed.
Oh, they wanted it
they'd
all pointed.
Actually, well, I don't know why it
It's
happened
an
that way,
interesting-
but it had been a bit more expensive. But that was the way they'd done it.
Yeah.
And
What was interesting about that? That was a dialogue in situ between what they were used to and how they wanted to solve the problem and how we thought to tackle the issue. And it was we were both learning. I think we went round at the end of the project. We identified many things, about 40 points that we would learn how to do better next time. But what we'd been able to do was collaborate
this was
on
the first
equal
time
level, learning how to implement it in that particular setting with that particular lot of people.
That was the first time that kind of building had been built in Nigeria, right?
To our knowledge, first ecodome in Nigeria, possibly first ecodome in West Africa or even sub-Saharan Africa.
Now, where were those domes invented? Wasn't it?
They were developed by Nada Khalili,
Where was he
who
based?
set up Calith Society, www.calith.org.
Yeah, I've seen the
And
pictures.
now there's a whole range of groups who are implementing them in various places.
Yeah.
But to our knowledge, first one in Nigeria and maybe West Africa.
So he got started in America? He was in California? Or I've seen pictures of a refugee camp that they deployed these in. Do you remember where that was?
The refugee camp was, I think there were possibly a couple. One was Middle East, and the other one was also Middle East, but it was just on the Iran-Iraq border.
Okay, I'm thinking of the first Middle East one, because there was this long series of discussions about the suitability of those kind of buildings for disaster relief and refugee stuff relative to the Hex Europe, which is completely at the other end of the spectrum in terms of durability and build time. I mean, it's this kind of different framework.
I'm sure that debate will continue, and it's something I've never been trying to push one way or the other.
Well, I mean, I view it as a progression.
It's important to point out, I wasn't trying to push it to the Nigerians. That's quite an important lesson.
Yeah, tell me.
That was something they picked on.
Yeah.
And I think it's an interesting illustration of the showcasing thing. They picked up on it, that's something that we were aware of, and we had some photos on our website. And they say, we really like this, how do we do it? So I said, well, if you're going to try it, go about it like this, and let it go and implement it. And we learned together what may be the advantages, and we're still on that dialogue process. We need to do some economic analysis, we need to do some value engineering,
And
we need
really
to make some more ambitious structures
this really
and
gets
carry
down
on
to try it
evaluating
and see,
Yeah.